The thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Justice requires us to remember when any citizen denies his fellow, saying his color is not mine, or his beliefs are strange and different. In that moment, he betrays America.
Be nice and patient and continue to pray. In 100 or 200 years, the problem will work itself out.
I believe that truth is the glue that holds government together. Not only our government, but civilization itself.
In this present crisis, government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem.
This nation was founded by men of many nations and backgrounds. It was founded on the principle that all men are created equal, and that the rights of every man are diminished, and the rights of one man are threatened.
America is never wholly herself unless she is engaged in high moral principle. We as a people have such a purpose today. It is to make kinder the face of the nation and gentler the face of the world.
There is nothing wrong with America that cannot be cured by what is right with America.
Through much of the last century, America's faith in freedom and democracy was a rock in a raging sea.
Starting today, we must pick ourselves up, dust ourselves off, and begin again the work of remaking America.
Oh, and that is if we have an America left.
Hi, everyone. My name is High Inquisitor, and I want you to know that I'm a proud gay man. And to you at the Heritage Foundation, you can all go fuck yourselves.
What a way to open a stream. Basically, okay. I guess we need to actually say what that was about a little bit there, but basically, I'll just drop the video and let you all find out. We just watched this. I woke up to this actually this morning. This is basically an organization that is getting everybody together to decide how the next Republican-only president will recraft the way we handle everything to be, what would you say, like a dictatorship or an oligarch? Like, I don't know what.
No, they are looking for a Christian theocracy.
This is it. Christian theocracy. Because basically, when you find out about Project 2025, knock your socks off, people. Apparently, things are going to be, ways of life are going to be illegal. This just sounds like such an, it's just such shades of some really bad shit that's happened in history. I can't even explain. And yet they're all doing it on the thing that they think that this is the way everybody should live. Like, no one else has any other rights unless you actually want to go along with their way. It's absolutely incredible. But anyway, that's the link if you want to know what we're talking about. It's about 17-minute long video.
Yeah, it's a long video, but it's a scary. It will piss you off if you are not of that persuasion.
Unless you've actually joined the project, I think it's going to piss you off. I really do, because even if they want some protections or rights or whatever they want, like just to go against whole groups of people just because, oh my God, for religious belief is just actually like you say, they want like Sharia government or something over here. Doesn't our country actually fight against that in other nations? Don't we actually try to tell them that's the wrong thing to do?
Well, we're going to become the new colonialists of the 1500s, where we now take our navy and cross the oceans with our Christian flags flying and go into the country singing, "Glory, glory, hallelujah, and onward, Christian soldiers, as we slaughter those who are in our way until they see it our way."
Oh my God.
All in the name of our Heavenly Father, Jeebus.
I have to put Aaron's comment up. Wait, I'm not on the right page. Where's Aaron's comment? Yeah. They can kiss my privileged white cis hetero ass. I agree. I agree. This is getting insane. Like I'm telling you, absolute insanity. I can't believe. Well, I don't. You're right though. It's just one step closer to just everything being upside down and everything that we have ever fought for being
If
just
any of this
ridiculous.
actually would be implemented, I would think you would see massive split in our country. Massive.
As if we
I would
don't
think you'd see a
see it at all.
violent split in our country as well.
Yeah. Well, we are seeing an increase in violence, and we are seeing an increase in the split. Actually, look at it. Either that, or it's just so well publicized and funded that it's become prominent in hopefully it's a smaller faction than what we think, but it's just everywhere in the media, it's everywhere on the social media platforms. I um Hey, Icarus, yeah, upside down, I've seen stranger things. Yeah, I have, but we're working, like, it's just working towards such a system that this whole country was based on not having, like, total opposite of what the founding fathers had laid out for us. It's ridiculous.
Now,
The
Claire,
they
you
laid
know
they
that our
laid down.
founding fathers founded this nation as a Christian nation to look out for the glory of Jeebus.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Now, as with everything that High Inquisitor says, there is some truth in that. Yes, there is. However, I would like to expand on it now. We got on those ships and came over here and ran away from there to have freedom of whatever religion we wanted to practice.
But that's
Whatever.
not the only reason they came, but that's
I
okay.
know it's not the only reason, but it's the reason that everybody goes on that national Christian national stuff. Yes, most of those first immigrating here, leaving England because of taxes and this and the one church and being told there were laws that said you had to be a certain religion in England, the Church of England being prominent. They wanted to practice whatever religion they wanted. We had multiple different religions, all believing,
Or
and yet,
practicing no religion at all.
or no religion at all. And so they wanted to come here to have the freedom to do that. Freedom being the key word there. To practice your religion without prejudice, not to take over a whole country one way. Exactly why we immigrate. We're gonna have to immigrate again.
I'm going to Norway. I don't know about the rest of you guys.
I think I would need to start a new country again, quiz, because apparently this experiment, the United States of America experiment, is a failure. There you go.
Well, I don't know that it's as much as a failure as it has just been beaten down over the last few years to the point where it just can't handle this kind of bullshit anymore. And I think the tree of liberty will be pruned. I think there's some bad twigs on our tree and they need to be pruned.
I think we need to water that damn tree. I think that damn tree is starving lately. It just infuriates me. It absolutely infuriates me. They're attacking every group that they can that just goes against it. I mean, women speak out for independence or this, that, and the other. Oh, that's it. Nope, gotta take their rights away too. Like, they're not doing the right thing. We gotta take their rights away. LGBTQ, nope. That's it.
Gotta protect our children.
Gotta protect our children. I would like to remind them of the actual statistics.
I would like to remind them that you can't be gay because somebody gay is sitting next to you.
No, it's not contagious. It's not contagious. Yes. And because you see a dance or you don't like the way somebody dressed or, the color of your skin doesn't wipe off either. Like,
really?
I'm sorry. No, really. Like, these things, contrary to the way things are being acted, these things are not contagious, like,
Wow.
mhm.
Ah.
I'll tell you. I think I don't know. You know what? It's so exasperating. I don't even know where to start. Like I was thinking, oh well, let's just talk about like the 19 because today is one of the first hearings, public hearing. It's broadcast in regards to the 19 indicted in Georgia for
The
election
19.
interference. The 19. We'll just call them the 19. It sounds like a great Western movie, doesn't it? The 19.
It
Yeah.
reminds me actually of the Black Sox.
Okay.
It does. I mean,
Yeah.
they did the 8.
They
Now
they
we've got
did
the
do the 8.
19.
Yeah, yeah, they did do the 8. Now we got the 19. Well, anyway, all 19 did plead not guilty prior to this arraignment, and so they don't need to come in for formal arraignment today, which would have been today, but they're not there. So what they're doing is they're deciding on motions today and going back and forth, and they've got a couple of really hot things to talk about. In the two most important or prominent right now that are going to like change things for everybody are whether or not to separate the cases, the actual trials of Cheeseborough and Powell, who both have decided to go for quick trials. Okay. And yet, also before Judge McAfee is whether there should be quick trials, because let's not forget, quite a few of these indicted are petitioning to move this from state court in Georgia to federal court because they are federal agents, of course. They were acting within their duties, Mark Meadows being the first and most prominent one to do so. And he actually testified for himself, Quiz. Did you see that?
Oh, yeah, I did.
Okay. What does it tell you when you can't get anybody that you worked for as a state or federal agent to actually testify for you in your hearing as to why you should be
Perhaps you're a
considered a
fuck up
state
and doing
agent?
wrong.
Yes, exactly. Like that was like, whoa, dude, you can't even get anybody to talk for you. You've got to get up there and do it. Just that this does not look good. This
Perhaps
does not
people are running
good.
away from you because they don't want to get chained up with you.
Exactly. Well, that it happens to be what's in the media right now, that everyone's running away from the king. Like,
Well, some of them are getting ready to throw him under the bus too.
mhm. Yeah. It's not going to help though, because one bus equals another bus in this equation. All 19, regardless of who did what, are going to be judged as if they did it because it's a RICO case. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you weren't in the room. It don't. It doesn't matter if he's the one who did this or she's the one who did that. It don't matter. Y'all gonna be accused the same. That's what these conspiracy RICO charges are all about. It's like they're in a mess. They're in a very big mess. It's not going to be that easy to get out of at all. Everybody's been in the news. Giuliani. How? What were you calling him this morning? I was cracking up. It's like
Giolante?
Gelato? I don't know.
Oh, was that Rudy Giuliani I was sitting next to? I thought it was Rob Giolante.
Rob Giolante. Oh, that's Sidney Powell. It wasn't me. I wasn't there. That was him. Really?
Really?
Like, oh my gosh, yes.
I had no idea we were in front of a state, commissioned, whatever they call them, giving evidence for fraud that never took place. I just thought they wanted to talk to me because they knew I was nice.
Oh yeah, I was just doing what everyone else was doing. Yeah, she's got some real good reasons why she's not guilty. Like, because she didn't know what was going on, actually. It's like, no. It kind of tickles, as you could tell, it kind of tickles me a little that all of these attorneys who should have known better and gave bad advice are getting like really caught up in this. I mean, they should be held to task. A lot of them are getting worried for their license, like Giuliani in particular, Eastman, also. If they're going to actually advise the president of the United States, Roger Stone, to do things that are illegal, okay, they should have some consequences, serious consequences for their profession. Like, seriously. I mean, interpretation of the law is one thing, but actually getting
I
people
can
to do.
promise you, if any of them happen to go to jail, any of them, the minute they get out, they will be given a lifetime achievement award from the GOP.
Mm. Oh my God. I don't. Can you actually see that though? I can't see them, any of them, getting off actually on any of it. They're going
And
to
we
be
thought the
one.
same back in Watergate time too.
Yeah,
It drug
we
on
did.
and drug on and drug on, and everybody was so sure that nobody was going, and suddenly,
Everybody was.
everybody pleads guilty and they all go to jail for, okay, it wasn't long, but they did go to jail.
They did, and they did
All of
plead.
them
They did
except
have to.
one.
They did have to plead guilty, and that would kind of be, if they would just, allocute in plea, and just be done with these. That would probably save Georgia, everybody, a lot of money. Uh, but it doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like it. They just absolutely are going to fight it tooth and nail, and all in very creative ways too. Actually,
Oh yeah.
I'm quite. Been watching. I'm quite amused at some of the. I have a few links to drop though. I did find this really good website for those that are interested. It's a great way to track. It's called Donald Trump's criminal cases all in one place. The fact that that's even a legitimate heading of anything just blows me away. Absolutely. Just blows. I mean, I'm still at the beginning of this as far as shock. Like, it hasn't worn off that an actual president or ex-president has criminal cases against them and is still wanting to run for office and thinks that they can. Like, I'm just, there's all of that going on too behind the scenes.
What really shocks me are the people who have backed him all this time because they're all about, we don't like the deep state. We don't like, the criminals in Congress and all that. And yet they're saying, even if Trump goes to jail, I'm still voting for him. And I'm like, how does that track?
They're, you know what? Most of the presidential candidates for the Republican side, they said guilty or not, they were still going to support him if he was the candidate. And that's not even the voting people. That's like just the party itself. Like, I'm saying, is this how you want to be represented? Seriously. Like, is this actually what you believe is the right thing in America? It's very concerning to me, this hearing today, everything that they're going to be going over, although it seems pretty small, it is going to set the future for how these cases go. But like they said, they may not be able to do these trials as quickly as they like until the 11th district actually weighs in on the cases that want to be moved over to federal court, which in a way helps but doesn't help their case. What it doesn't do is get rid of Fannie Willis or anything from Georgia. It'll still be Georgia overseeing as far as how you get prosecuted, what your sentence is going to be, what was actually illegal or not. It's not going to go.
Have a link that would help people go watch the trials going on right now, the motion hearings and things.
I actually would. Would you?
Do you really? I
really
wonder if they would be interested in that.
Here you go, guys. This is Judge McAfee, just Scott McAfee over in Georgia, holding the first hearing in the Trump election subversion case is what we're calling it here. Yes, the subversion case. And they're talking, when last I saw a few minutes ago when we went live, they were actually talking about the 11th court having to decide whether or not the cases can come over there, specifically in regards to Mark Meadows, because that's what was going on with him, and he had given his evidence and all. But he made a very valid point. He said, if we go forward in October and say this case is going to be like 4 months long, because there's a lot of evidence, he said it could take 6 to 8 months for the 11th court to decide. So we could get to a point in the trial where we're all wrapped up, we're ready to actually enter a plea, jury goes out, jury comes back, we can't enter it into the court. whatever they decide until the 11th court decides, because they wouldn't have the authority because it's under question and appeal. So they're under motion, so to speak. And that was actually eye-opening to me because I didn't realize it was that big of a thing, what Mark Meadows just did. But he definitely bought himself some time, that's for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because I guess Judge McAfee's got a very good point. Like, why should we do the trial if we can't enter the conviction or the plea or the verdict? If we can't enter the verdict into the record, it's kind of moot, right?
That's true.
And then it would also, the delay in entering the verdict in, wouldn't that be like automatic appeal? Wouldn't people just appeal on it right away, regardless of what the verdict was, based on the fact that they couldn't enter it yet?
I
Yeah.
think they probably have procedures around that, based on, because you're being, you can't announce this or I don't even think they would announce it. They wouldn't even announce the verdict. The verdict would probably stay sealed until the last trial, and then just announce them all at the same time.
You know what? Yeah, that would be good. But that's another thing. Like, these hearings are actually letting, especially the ones here in Georgia with McAfee, are actually going to be letting out little bits of the case, little bits of the evidence here and there as we go. Not as much as you would think right away, but
Yeah.
I mean, the prosecution did come out strong with keeping the cases together, and because, like, the way that it's charged, for those not familiar, every person is guilty. The reason they want them separated so much is that most people, like you and I, Quiz, right? If we're guilty of something, we want to be accused of what we did, and we want to have to suffer the consequences for what we did, right? But the way, in simple language, the way this indictment went down, you and I are in a conspiracy, and
They
whatever
will still
you
be
say and
considered
did,
co-conspirators.
whatever
You
you
can,
said and did,
yeah,
I'm guilty. Yeah.
you can pull apart the trials, but you're
Mm-hmm.
still going to be charged as a co-conspirator in this
Right.
trial. You just aren't going to
Mhm.
be tried together at the same time.
Yeah, and I think that's what Sidney Powell and Cheeseborough are forgetting. Like, but at the same time, they want a trial on the charges, and they want they don't want the stigma of being associated together. And they've actually said that. Like, they're pointing at each other like, I don't know her. I don't know him. Like, I don't want
Yeah.
to, I don't even want to be in the same, like, associated with the charges whatsoever. But it's not really going to matter, because under the conspiracy with RICO, whatever one did, the other is going to be held accountable for anyway, as long as they can prove the conspiracy. And it seems like, from what we've already seen Fannie Willis put out there, she's pretty well linked the conspiracy through all their communications,
Mm-hmm.
like a house of cards or a domino. You know, when you like line up all those dominoes and you push one and then that whole big thing goes on. It's kind of like that. Like, every email, every text message, back and forth, phone call, they all lead to the other, back and forth. And it just seems like it is, well, the way it's laid out in the indictment, it does look like a actual organized plan. The way they all would talk to each other and assign them this part or that part, or I'll do this and that. Cheeseborough in particular is actually being charged with actually organizing the fake electors scheme. Like,
Mm-hmm.
coming up with that idea and how would it work, and writing the memo and all of this. And that happens to be quite the illegal activity there. But those three people they looped into that one, they're in here in the indictment too, going, what? Like, we thought we were obeying the law and doing what was, like, needed, and here they got looped into this whole thing too, trying to put fake electors in. What's wrong with people? Like, if you've got to cheat to win, is it really winning? Could I ask you, people? Seriously.
Well,
Like, fake
depends.
electors.
I mean, for an election, no. If we're playing golf, I don't care how I win.
There's no cheating in golf. Come on. Like, How do you cheat in golf? Really? What do you do? Like, how
That's
do you?
easy. You
Yeah.
slice it into the woods. You go get the ball before anybody else gets there, and then you
And
throw it back
drop
onto the
off,
fairway and go, I thought it sliced, but here it is on the fairway. Oh my.
or just drop it in the hole. Just walk up next to it, pull it out of your pocket, and put it in. Right?
Look, I
Yeah.
found it in the cup. Oh my God.
Mm. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, yeah, right, Aaron Reese. Did you like that play, A House of Cards? I loved that series actually. Did you watch that? Uh, it had Kevin Spacey as running for office and then becoming the president. It was ridiculous. It was very evil too. They did some nasty stuff on that show, Aaron. It was all like violent behind the scenes, and it was like a criminal enterprise. This man was a one-man criminal enterprise that corrupted everything. But his wife wasn't much better when she took over.
Was the main character named Donald by any chance?
No, but he could have been. Except for no, it couldn't have been because like Kevin Spacey played this character so ruthless. Like people were thrown under moving trains. Okay. He had henchmen that really literally took out people. Like, like that. Like it was wild.
Give them a few
Yeah.
more years, and I'm sure they're going to say that's
Mhm.
part of their presidential powers.
Yeah, you know what? According to that video that we just dropped before, apparently they're going to be able to do whatever they want, based on that it's the right thing to do. Yeah, it's our belief. Yep. It was Peter Collins. I kind of agree with you. It was one of the best series ever. I'm sorry it died so weakly. Also, it really did at the end. It kind of like ruined it. Um, I do, but the other one that I really liked.
Did at the end, did they happen to blow up Washington, D.C.?
No, that's another
and
one,
and move
Survivor or
into a
whatever.
different series right away?
That was the one with Kiefer Sutherland where, like, he was, like, the housing representative, and he kinda, like, ended up as the president, which is, like, a wild premise, but it's actually what happens. There's a hierarchy on who gets to step up. It's whoever's left alive after some major catastrophic event like that. But I actually enjoyed that one because here it was like an average guy in politics that really doesn't have a voice ends up to be president of the United States. And he was quite liberal, wasn't he? Like he was like, "Wow, what do you do?" Like, "Whoa, we can change things. Yay." It was quite interesting. But what's the other one with Martin Sheen? I always forget the name of it,
West
and I
Wing.
loved it. West Wing, that's it. That one, although based not in reality, because after all,
Really?
yeah, because Martin Sheen actually had somebody following him around all the time who actually had the paperwork and kept things locked up and gave him his briefings and you know was all organized and stuff. Like I just loved the way they sat around and bullshit with their different opinions. Like they were all over the place about stuff. And they would always come to like an agreement. But it was like it was really fun watching like everything they wanted to do was a big debate. There'd be 6 people sitting in there in the Oval Office arguing with the president about what should be done. It was I loved it. I absolutely loved it. But yeah, I don't think it's really like that anymore. I really don't. I don't think
It
ever
depends
really
on
was.
who's president. I mean,
Yeah.
from 2016 on to 2021, it was
Mhm.
more like, yes, sir. Oh, whatever you say, sir. Yes, sir. Oh, yes, sir.
His name was Francis Underwood, by the way. Yes, that was Kevin Spacey's character, and his wife's name was Claire, and she became president. Claire Underwood became president, and she was pretty evil too.
Wait, how did
Yeah.
she become president?
Oh, she killed him.
Well, was she the vice president?
Yeah, he made her vice president. She killed. Yeah, it was a whole big
Okay.
thing.
Okay.
They killed him off. Listen, they killed off Kevin Spacey, but they had to do it as Francis Underwood because they didn't want the taint of Kevin Spacey's allegations and everything that was going on at the time to have anything to do with it. So instead of
That's
letting him actually fulfill his contract, they just tanked the whole show. Which I
that is
don't
almost like
understand.
Dave at that
Yep.
point. You
Yep.
know,
It
suffers
is.
a suffers a stroke, and
And they just whoop, there you go. Yeah. Well, rather than let them fulfill the contract, and keep the series going, they just killed the whole thing, by getting, oh, she killed him. As you do. Yes, Peter, like that's how you get into office. You just kill him. Just kill them. I'm not advocating murder here, but like, it is one of those things I'm fascinated with, like with true crime and legal updates and stuff like that. But you know, but this is the political
Aaron
show.
has a
How
good
dare
point.
we?
And
Hmm.
I sorry, it's on the wrong screen, Aaron. It's gonna get away from me.
Can you get?
According to the sources, there was a rigorous debate while Trump tuned into occasionally asked stupid questions.
Sure.
And I can see that happening, because I'm not saying everybody who was in the Trump organization were, I mean, they know how to handle Trump. Just say yes and then go do whatever you
Hmm.
want.
Hmm.
But I would imagine that there was vigorous debate before they presented Trump with whatever policy they wanted to.
Right.
And I can also see Trump, sitting there, doing his coloring book, and every once in a while looking up saying, where's my Diet Coke? Or
Yeah, exactly. You know what? That's actually in the affidavit from Mark Meadows in his testimony, actually, from the hearing that he was having recently to move his case. He said that the reason he was part of the phone call in Georgia was because it was often in his position that he would have to do just about everything that Trump was doing, because he often talked about other subjects than what was scheduled for the meeting or what they were doing. He was very hard to keep on task as far as what they were accomplishing at the time, and would do these random questions and random topics at any time, regardless of who was there, which made it very difficult for, we always say, like, what's going on here? Like, he's talking to people that don't have clearance about this, that, or the other thing. He just talked about whatever he wanted and asked whatever questions, regardless of what was going on in the room at the time. You could be there talking about a military, budget, and he would bring up something that happened in Florida that he wanted to talk about or take care of or get checked into. Like, he was very hard to keep on tagging. So Mark Meadows is using that as the reason that he knows everything about the conspiracy because he had to for his job. Not that he was involved in any of it,
yeah,
but
I
he had
didn't.
to know about all of it. And I would like to know, well, you had to know about all of it, Mark, but you knew it was illegal. So why didn't you tell anybody? Okay. Like, I don't think that's going to save you as an argument.
No, it's
No.
not.
Hmm. I don't think that that's actually going to keep him out of a prosecution, and we'll see where the actual chips lie at the end, because I don't think that's a good enough reason. Things like,
So
I mean,
what's going
yeah.
on with the other cases besides the one in Georgia? We have the one in D.C.
Oh, we do have the one in DC. We do, and that is chugging along. Okay. And actually, Georgia has said that they would wait for DC to proceed, actually, that they were willing to cooperate. So we're willing. And they're very tied together, except for Georgia is more about the election and conspiracy, but it is in regards to the election. But Jack Smith's DC indictment also lists quite a few charges against Trump in regards to the January 6th insurrection attempt.
Right.
And if they actually do go forward, which they're not scheduled to until early 2024.
Yeah, May or
Right?
March or May.
I think it's March. I think it's March. It's May. It's May 2024. It is before the election, but that insurrection, like, if you are guilty of that, then all of this talk about the amendment that actually, what is it, the 14th? I forget which amendment they're
Yeah,
talking
the
about.
14th Amendment,
Yeah.
where that would disqualify him from running.
Mhm. Which is a very good amendment. It means if you actually cross us as a government, you can't be part of government. So in other words, like, you want to be an insurrectionist and you want to, like, tear down the government, then you have no right to be a part of it. Like, get the hell out of here. I like that amendment, actually. is if you're not going to cooperate, like go play somewhere else. Well, it would actually prevent anyone that is guilty of insurrection against our country, the people themselves, as an elected official, from ever holding office again. Can't go on the ballot. It's a good sounding premise there. I mean, I
Yes.
don't know why everybody's ignoring it. Well, they're not. There are some people that are talking about it now, and it's a little bit
There's
early because,
actually been some cases filed in
well, how
certain
far can
states.
they get without actually a formal label of being an
Well, that
insurrectionist?
is the point. They're trying to push the boundaries as to whether or not he actually has to be found guilty or just charged. Um, I mean, I know what any good Supreme Court justice is going to say. You can't hold a man for what he might be
Mm,
charged for. What might
exactly.
he might be found
Right.
guilty for. You can't do that. So no.
Mm-mm.
But
Mm.
at the same time, I think there's an argument to be made to say a person shouldn't be running for office while they're facing these kind of charges,
Mm.
especially when it's not just one in one area. We're not, it's
Mhm.
not just the federal government hitting them. It's Florida, Georgia, New York, and the
Mhm.
federal government. I mean, and
Yeah.
there could be another one coming.
Yeah. There's,
A little known one out of Arizona might happen too.
yes, Arizona also had some problems there. All the states that were hit up about this do have the right, like Georgia, to file the same charges, actually. All the same kind of stuff was going on in a slightly different way in each place, but still the same. It was organized. And you're right. You can't just call somebody an insurrectionist and put the 14th Amendment in place. You need for that label to actually be committed with verdict.
Hmm.
It's something,
Yeah.
because just because someone's indicted for something doesn't make them guilty. Remember, here in a court of law, still not guilty until innocent until proven guilty is the way it goes in
Right.
most cases. Regardless of what the media wants to do, and the rest of us, we just want to lock it all up. I know we just want to get it over with, but right now there has to be trial. They got to have their day in court, and due diligence has to be done, and it has to be proven. We can say whatever we want in an indictment. It's proving it. That's the difficult thing in a court of law, because they have a right to defend against it. And that's always the most interesting part for me, is the balance that judges in the system have to do constantly to make sure that victims and the people and laws are protected, justice is served, however fairly, that defendants have the right to defend against it and get a fair and equitable trial.
Hmm.
And that's been more and more difficult to do with the way media has been going lately. Can you imagine? We have to go all the way until, let's say, May of 2024. Let's just use the Georgia case alone, with us talking about it almost every day. Every day, there's a massive amount of videos, there's a massive amount of news media coverage going on for every little thing about these 19 that are indicted. Every little thing you can think of. Can you imagine by next May how the heck they're going to find a completely unbiased jury? It's going to be impossible.
Yeah.
No matter where they have these charges, no matter where they do it, it's just it's just crazy. Um, so it's not going to be reasonable to think that people aren't going to know about the indictment or know what's going on. We've been hearing about what happened in Georgia since it happened in Georgia, years. Okay, then it's going to be mm,
Now, if y'all want
mm,
to have some fun with this, I know some of you do.
fun.
The
Okay.
Florida fiasco has been heating up recently.
Which part? Because like there's so many Florida
A
fiascos.
certain judge keeps telling the prosecutor, special
Oh,
prosecutor Jack
Cannon.
Smith,
Oh, okay. We're talking
that
about the
he's
document.
not
Right?
allowed, or they're not going to seal anything. And then suddenly, when they're not sealing stuff, So Jack Smith writes a very detailed description of what they're going to present as evidence.
Mm-hmm.
The defense is now saying, "Wait, you can't say that about us in your brief. That should be sealed."
Yeah, they don't want anything sealed because they want the people to know about the sham prosecution that's going on. But they don't want the prosecutor to say what he's prosecuting for.
Yep.
Wow. That's That's hypocrisy 101 right there. This
I
is
mean,
like,
and so
wow.
once she assigned the seals, all of a sudden, oops,
Mm-hmm.
now I can do everything under the seals. So
That's it. They didn't want anything sealed because they want to know who everybody is and they want to know everything. That's the problem. Like a lot of the judges in some of the other cases are sealing. Like, Kirkin is actually, Judge Kirk is being pretty strict with Trump as far as like, don't be threatening people. Don't be this, you're going to make me move things further because I need to protect people. She laid it pretty well out. And she's playing like pretty straight laced. That's a pretty straight laced judge. Like, that's probably they got a very good record. I don't think there's much, although they are saying whatever they want, like about it anyway. There's really not much they could say about the rulings or anything like that. They've been pretty much scandal free, no like iffy judgments here. They've been pretty law based. They have a great respect for the process, as most judges do. Well, I have to admire that she's pretty well holding the fist, And I can't believe they're still out there talking. I mean, he's still tweeting up a storm. He's still tweeting up a storm every day. But
it will get him in trouble eventually. So,
well, he should actually, just smarten up and not be doing the tweeting himself anymore. He is going to end up in a problem. He's just banking on the fact that nobody wants the embarrassment of sitting the ex-president in jail while they wait for their trial. He thinks that there'll be like this great uprising of people. And I'm like, well, if you actually sit there and think about it, he says that he's not being treated. He's being treated worse than everybody else, and he's actually getting preferential treatment on the other side.
Of course he is.
Because anybody else who did those tweets would have been in jail already as a violation of what she said. Because the day after, he attacked her and
who had
everybody
been
else.
charged with those felonies would have been, ordered to be on an ankle bracelet, ordered not to leave the state, and probably given, a bail that would be hard to obtain, and then on top of that, be ordered to give up their passport. Has that happened to anybody else? I mean, it hasn't happened to Trump. But yet it happens to everybody else. I mean, through and through. If it was just you or I standing in front of there facing those kind of charges, we would have the book thrown out so fast. So
exactly, we would. It's different. It's always different. Money seems to always offer a better defense, a better process. Or no process at all, depending. But in this case, I'm glad to see that they actually took the time to go forward, as long as it did take to dot all the I's and cross the T's and go forward. And I'd have to say, like, Fannie Willis is taking it on her shoulders here, and she's getting a lot of flack for it too. And it's damaging to one's political aspirations and careers in general to be going down this road. But it shows that they have a true belief in what is right and wrong. And they're going to use the law to make sure that no one's above it. In as much as they say that this is some kind of witch hunt, which I actually don't subscribe to, I think the witch hunt is actually on the other side in the persecutions that they do against witnesses or anybody that says boo. I mean, it's a little crazy. And you're right, Anna. When we talk about this case, and all of the judges have admonished or Trump in one way or another for his tweets about intimidating witnesses, about trying to get information, about harassing and bullying and all of that. And he's been, what he hasn't been yet is sanctioned. But it does remind me of the document leaker that's just sitting in jail like all this time. Yep, just sit there, waiting for the trial. It doesn't matter. Or someone like Sarah Boone, who can't keep a defense attorney, who's still in jail like 3-4 years later. waiting on a fair trial. At one point, does the system actually support and actually give her trial? I mean, she might be her worst enemy, but still, she deserves a fair trial. She just like everybody. I do actually. I am grateful that Fannie Willis has the support of her state government behind her,
Yeah.
her governor and all, because it could get really dicey, otherwise. And I'm very glad. But can you believe they tried to turn the whole thing out with that Hail Mary thing that happened quite a few months ago? We talked about an unprecedented motion that never actually gets approved, and they put it in there just trying to wipe out the fact that anyone could prosecute them at all from Georgia. Like not the prosecutor, let's just make it illegal. Like, I couldn't believe that.
Well,
I mean, I kind of knew it wasn't going to
I mean,
go through.
the state representatives who are GOP controlled tried to open investigations against Fannie Willis.
What are they going to find? That she's doing her job?
But Kemp
It's
already
silly.
said, no, I'm not approving any investigations into Fannie Willis. So, sorry.
No, because it just looks retaliatory. Like, if there's an issue, say what the issue is, and we'll check that out. But just to open up an investigation to go find an issue, that's not how investigations are supposed to work. Like, you're supposed to know something's going on first and check into it. Not like, we don't like you, we don't like what you're doing. Let me just open an investigation to just find out anything I can to hold against you to get you to stop.
Yep.
Yeah, that's not how things are supposed to work. But it seems to be status quo these days, actually. Well, unfortunately. But I don't know. There's so much going on. I mean, you all know that there's 19 indicted. It's going to be quite some time. And like you said, the one in DC, with Jack Smith, I mean, those are puttering along also. Then we got the actual Mar-a-Lago documents case in Florida. When it comes to Trump indictments, it's all really good. But I do got a little bit of piece of news. This isn't a criminal case; it's a civil case. But we just got a default judgment in the E. Jean Carroll case. She asked for summary judgment based on the fact that he's not going to come to court, and based on the fact that she won her defamation case on the same facts prior, and the judge agreed. Well, that's done and over.
Yep.
No, that's done it over. Number 2 against Trump. She won again. Yes, she did. She won again. Because they didn't have to prove anything in the second trial. The only issue was when were those actual statements made and whether they could be prosecuted or not. But here's what he did. He went and talked about it again anyway. And she amended the document to add that afterwards. So it doesn't really matter what they decide about the one statements that he made while he was president. That doesn't matter anymore. Not that it was looking in his favor anyway, because they had already come out and said there wasn't enough information to decide whether he was acting for his employer, the people.
Anna, really?
What? Yep, he denied it. Thank you, Anna. There you go. So that means that when you say the separation, we're talking about Cheeseborough in Powell, right? He's not separating, or is it in regards to all cases? They'll all stay together regardless. Because I don't know if they can do that if a couple of them move to federal. I'm not sure. Well, yep. He lost when he showed up, so he decided to try not showing up, and if it helped, no, it didn't, Aaron, because he didn't show up to the first one either. I think they're talking about the ones that have pled for separation, which were actually Powell and Cheeseburger. Was there anybody else besides Cheeseburger who wanted to separate? I'm trying to look that up right now. That's good news, actually, for the case. I'm sure Fannie Willis is happy about that. Okay. Let's just. Oh.
Wait, hold on.
Oh. What'd you just find out?
ABC is reporting that the judge has allowed Powell and
what?
Cheeseburger. Or-
Yeah,
I knew I would say that eventually.
cheeseburger. Yeah, you could call him. No, it says 9 minutes ago, judge denies Kenneth Cheeseburger's. The Hill says that the judge denied Cheeseburger's request to sever Georgia charges from Sidney Powell. A
Yeah,
state
ABC
judge
News.
denied
I'm just
Kenneth.
reading I'm reading it. It says judge allows 2 defendants to be tried separately.
What? But Fulton County Superior. Oh, wait. He signaled he is skeptical of prosecutors' request to try alongside them the other 17, including former Trump. Both Cheeseburger and Powell sought to separate themselves. Cheeseburger trial is set for October 23rd. They urged to keep Powell's trial separate, but based on what's been presented today, I am not finding the severance from Mr. Cheeseburger or Ms. Powell is necessary to achieve a fair determination of the guilt or innocence for either defendant in this case. He is not separating them. However, he has not actually given the date, though, for Sidney Powell. Does that mean she goes on the 23rd, too? He gave Fulton County District Attorney Fannius Wilson an opportunity to further brief the issue of the other 17 that should be tried in October. It sounds like the state is still sticking to the position that all these defendants should remain, and they want to address some of these removal issues. I'm willing to hear that. I remain very skeptical, but I'm willing to hear what you have to say on it. So he's saying he's not separating them yet, and he's letting everybody talk about it more. That's basically all he said. He's not separate. He did not separate Cheeseburger and Powell. It basically, he just gave them more time to argue.
ABC is reporting it as they're allowing them to be separated. So all I can say is what ABC said here.
I know ABC. Well, this is the Hill. This comes right out of. This is like a court one. Like, let me see what else there is. This is really weird. Why would they both be reporting something differently? This is crazy. Okay, the Hill says that it's denied.
We're gonna have to wait. I mean, we're gonna have to figure this one out because.
Wow, this is kind of like mainstream.
Because ABC News has said it's been allowed.
Is that weird? I mean, come on. How could one say?
I don't know, unless ABC jumped the gun, read the decision wrong.
It could be. I mean, ABC's owned
But
by
I would have
Disney,
thought
right?
that.
Wait. Okay, so ABC and Disney, like, right? That ABC is owned by Disney. So maybe the illustrators were on a coffee break while the news report came out. What can I tell you? I don't know.
We'll figure it out. I'm sure either Disney or the Hill will be printing a retraction, but
I know I'm
sorry,
so
ABC
confused.
or the Hill.
I'm waiting for anyone else to weigh in. I keep like searching, right? And nobody else has come up with anything yet. Just the Hill and ABC.
Well,
and this is and the Hill seems to be sticking to it. Okay, I have no. It's still a real pleasure to catch you live, but it's bedtime. No, I appreciate that, Pete. I'm so glad that you were here, Peter Collins. Thank you so much. We're gonna try to figure this one out. I don't know if we're gonna be figuring this out before the end of the stream, but we will definitely put it on the back of the video. Oh, Brother Bob doesn't do politics on this stream anyway, but he does.
Did you guys want to see Brother Bob? I mean, unfortunately, he is out today doing his service work for the church. If you go down to the church, that's at Brother Bob's Church of Holy Love. I'm sure he'll be happy to service you. I mean, see you.
And anyway, hopefully we can get him there in a couple of weeks over on Mayhem for another sermon. But thank you very much, Peter Collins. It's always good to see you. I'm glad you could make the stream, and thank you so much for your support. It's always very pleasant to see a nice comment from you. So thanks. Yep. Cheeseburger, the hamburger's more political active cousin. Aaron, I love it. I love it. He shall forever be known as Cheeseburger now. I can't get that out of my head between the two of you.
I knew I was going to make that mistake. I mean, it's Cheese
It's
Bro, and then it's Cheeseburger. Nope, that isn't it. I would have hated to go through life with that name because they called him Cheeseburger.
You know what? I kind of want to believe, like, Anna is very direct in what she hears. Like, she's listening to the hearing now, and if she says the judge is not separating, I believe that the Hill and Anna have it right. And ABC has gone the way of all Disney creations lately and just got a little too much into the fantasy and trying to be politically correct, like, about everything, so that they ruin everything for everyone. Like, so in true Disney style, they're remaking the hearing too. Into like an unbelievable version. They can't leave the original alone. This is too much. I can't believe it. Oh my gosh.
I wonder, hold on here. There's one I can check that I will trust. Absolutely.
Yep. I am going to KCG. As soon as we figure it out, I will put it in I'll tag it to the back of this video. Actually. Double sausage egg McMuffin. Did you go to McDonald's, Robski? Oh, jeez. I don't know. It does sound good, though. It does sound good. Aaron, you need to like rename all 19 defendants that way. Like that should be a new game we play in the Discord. Yeah, we'll rename them all and then just try to assign the names and have everybody guess. But I don't know. Most of the cases are just trudging along. There's a lot going, but this one is with the 19 is going to be something, because just wrangling 19 of them all together at the same time. They all went for their arraignments different. They all like posted their bonds and stuff all separate. They were allowed to just turn themselves in willingly and get their mugshots, fingerprints, and be processed, all at different times. They had until the 25th to do it. Most of them did it beforehand, all beforehand. I think there was only one person who ended up staying in jail overnight to get his bond taken care of, and they tried to make a real big thing about it, but it was nothing. It was because he didn't have representation and he didn't get everything in a row. Well, he got out, they got taken care of. Well, they were trying to make a big deal about that one too. I don't know. It's a bunch of people that are getting charged for something altogether, and they don't want to associate with each other anymore. It's amusing to me. They want to act like they don't know each other anymore. This is actually quite comical. Hey, Turtle Moose. ABC are reporting the Otter news. Yeah, the Otter version. I don't know. The other version for sure. I just don't know what to think of this. Chris and I are a little.
Here we go.
Amused. Oh, you got something else? What is
okay?
CBS
There we go. Okay, here we go.
Okay, here we go.
The Independent is reporting they have been denied.
Okay, so that's two sources, and the Independent is independent. So let's go with that.
I would say if the Independent's going to report that, then it's probably what it is.
Yeah, is that a video or an article? Can we drop that link for them?
Oh, sure. After I closed it, just go back and find it.
Well, I'll just
fine. Just be that way. I'll go get it.
I'm being that way. Information is key. Here's the one. There's the one from the Hill that says so. But definitely, well, now here's the thing. He said he's not separating, but he also said in the article that I'm reading here is that he clearly said he's opening it up for the prosecution to actually speak more on why they should all be prosecuted now. Because remember, the other defendants besides Cheeseborough and Powell have waived their right to a speedy trial. They want more time. And Trump's is going in May? No, that May one is for the Washington, D.C., right? So what happens if any Willis actually gets all of these trials going in October. Oh, well, we're going to be busy, aren't we, Quiz?
Yeah.
I'm going to
And
be
there
busy.
is the independent link I put up there. So
Thank you very much. That's it for Thursday next week. I know. Anna, and we're going to watch it.
Wait,
Yeah.
what?
Well,
What's that for
October
Thursday?
23rd. October 23rd with Old Cheeseboro. It's his trial.
Aren't we in September?
No, the hearing. Oh, yes, that's right. That's next month, Anna. Anna, you got me so excited. I was like, we're there. Yes, let me make the stream as soon as I get off here. Like, I got so
I was like,
excited.
wait,
Like,
did I sleep a whole fucking month?
apparently we all did. No, Anna, if you mean Cheeseburger's trial, that's October. That's 1 month away in a week. But it's really not that far away when you consider creating like a case this huge in that few weeks. Like Fanny
Okay, wait
is
a
really
minute.
prepared. there.
Let's do some math. I'm going to do some math here for you.
Oh no!
Let me just count them. 1, 2,
No,
3, 4.
It's only 3:00 in the afternoon.
5, 6.
No.
Almost 7 weeks away.
Okay. 7. Well, we have plenty of time to prepare then for the great cheeseburger caper of 21. Yes. We've got 7 weeks to get that one under our belts before it actually goes to trial. There we go. High Inquisitor Control Shift T. Oh, is that how you retrieve something that you just closed? Really, Kyle? That's a great thing to know. I probably won't remember it, but what does that actually do?
Oh no, I'll try it if I get logged out. Hey, just take you back to the last spot you were in. Oh damn.
Oh wow! Thank you. Oh, just all these little tidbits. I love learning something new every day. Thank you. I know, Anna. I was so excited. I was like getting ready to make the stream. Like, all these ideas were popping in my head.
I've got a question for Rocket. I know it's not the time, but Rocket, it is only go back one, or can I do multiple backs?
Okay, so what happens if you do it again? Does it open a one on top of that and on top of that and on top of that? That would
That's what I'm asking him.
That's wild.
So let's see. I guess I'll. Whoops.
Yeah.
Better go do it over here.
I'm not sure there's a limit. Okay, but I guess it would. I guess you could keep opening until you go. Well, there you
go. It keeps going back and back and back.
Wow, that is a good. I have to write this one down. Open your last browser window because you know how often in the middle of a stream I close something accidentally. Well, you hear me complain about it all the time, right? Because I'm like, damn, I'm not usually very quiet about it when it happens. I'm gonna write that down. Thank you so much, Rocket Couch. Look at it. We're learning stuff here. We're learning that some judges can actually come forth with a decision that's not an actual decision that really does anything. Because when you think about what this judge just did, he said, I'm not separating them, but I'm gonna let you all still talk about it for a while. So bring me.
No, he's talking about the Trump separation.
He's talking about the other 17, like not just Trump, all of the 17.
He's not sure that this whole federal thing is gonna turn out, but we'll see. I mean,
right, and it's not even just the federal thing. The other 17 want a lengthier, like they're not going for a speedy trial, so they want time. They didn't want to get it scheduled within 60 days, so they're not. And most of them are going for federal, like you said. And he had a valid point. The fair point that he made is, why would we go for 4 months worth of trial and then not be able to enter the verdict in, because we've got this thing going on in the 11th District Court, like the circuit.
If I was Fannie Willis, I would have argued that you do the trial. If the 11th Circuit decides, we need to move it up, then they move it up. But why should we stop and wait for the 11th Circuit? Because we have no idea when they're going to make their ruling.
True, but if you can't enter the verdict, why have a trial? It makes it moot.
And here's the other thing. I'm pretty sure the 11th would either put a stay on the trial if they were going to rule something separate, or if they were going to rule in favor of separating, or would have just stayed quiet and said, we're not taking it up. We're going to let the Georgia court rule on it.
They could, but they've got to do one or the other, but we hope, like within a timely manner. Well,
it is the 11th. Anyway, hey, Turtle, I've got to say this. You really missed an opportunity here, because Cheeseburger's trial lawyer would have been Roethlisberger.
Rottenberger. He was something.
Ben Roethlisberger is coming out of retirement to be an attorney.
Yep, there you go. Separation.
He's going to quarterback this case, lead it down the field, and score a touchdown.
Yes, he's going to try.
Did I lose you on that?
Try. Nope, you didn't. I'm trying to remember who he is, but
Ben Roethlisberger.
He's the Steelers quarterback.
That's him.
I got it. Let's look at that. My brother's.
I bet you can't tell why I know that one.
Football.
He's a quarterback.
He's a quarterback. Big shoulders, tight.
No. I'm supposed to know all the quarterbacks because somebody else was a quarterback.
Oh, okay. Well, yes. I can see that. You know why I know who it is?
I know big shoulders, tight butt.
Not only that, no, I'm not objectifying all the football players. No, I'm not going to go there with that. It's because
I only objectify the football players who have big shoulders and tight butts, though.
Well, true. If you're going to objectify, make it worth it. But still, it's because I play fantasy football and I was damn good at it. And so,
and he would have been one you'd want to keep on your team.
And he was not my primary. He was not my primary quarterback, but he was my backup, and he always came through.
Yep.
He was my backup. I played him second or third if my first one wasn't there. But at that time, I was always flipping my first one around too. I was quite fond of the new ones coming forward with these hella records, some really good arms coming through. But this was a couple years ago. I didn't play last year at all. It was I played during the pandemic and then got kicked from the leagues because I won as a newbie. They don't like that when you come in new and you win everything. They're like, who the hell are you? Get the hell out of here.
No, what they don't like was that A, you were new, and 2, you're a woman.
Well, no, a lot of them didn't know I was a woman. They thought I was a frog. They don't know. They don't know I was a woman.
Claire.
No, it wasn't named Claire. I had a name. It was I was using my other handle.
Using a pseudonym.
A pseudonym, and it was Zen Frog. So they just thought I was a frog. Yeah, that is the only other name I've used out on social media. It was the name that was on all my existing accounts, had that name at one time before I used my real name. So I would use that for the fantasy leagues. So they didn't know I was a woman. My brother did tell them in the one league, and they did get pissed off. You are right. They did get really pissed off about that. Yeah.
Women aren't supposed to know anything about that stuff.
No, my brother, I kind of liked it because when you do fantasy football, you could pick anybody from any team and you can stack it, you could do randoms and trades and all of this other stuff. You pick who you kind of sort of want, and you go through the rosters and everything. But it's a statistics game. It's all about the numbers and it's all about probability. So I was pretty good at it. I knew nothing about football, but the game or how it's played. You know what I mean? I was not watching it all the time. I mean, we would do pools at work where you would do what team you thought would win, and they had the grid. And I always went by which animal beats which animal. Does a tiger eat a dolphin or what? That's it. Or colors. They would get so mad at me. I would go, what color are their uniforms? And they were like, that doesn't matter. I go, well, it does to me. I would bet on it that way. But when it came to fantasy football, it was all statistics. It was a numbers game. So it got to be pretty a numbers and a prediction game. All you had to do is look at the stats and look at the look at the reserved list on who was injured, like who wasn't playing. And once you did the math, you pretty much came up with what was going to happen. The predicting of it wasn't really that difficult. So it was pretty good.
Okay, so let's see. We've talked about Florida,
We
Georgia.
talked about Florida, Georgia.
Oh, we have
You
to go to New York.
Oh, can we go to? Wait a minute. You know that's happening. That's happening.
Can I have $2 billion?
Well, they're going to. Why do you want $2 billion? Okay, first of all, New York's going to be
got to
$2
pay
billion.
his fine.
You know, and they're going to. He's not even going to be out. All right, this is where his whole organization is rooted out of, and they're literally, if he's guilty in this thing, will not be able to actually hold a business in that state.
That's right.
It's going to be amazing.
If y'all haven't heard, the AG, the Attorney General in New York, has released some of the evidence that they're presenting. And it was discovered that the Trump organization, at the behest of Donald J. Trump, overvalued their holdings by $2 billion.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you say to yourself, so what? It's just $2 billion and he's a billionaire. But if you go back and look at the time when he was doing that, he only had listed like maybe $2.6 billion as assets.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's fraud because he's listing it on all the transactions that do.
Yeah.
He's actually borrowing money from establishments. He's entering into contracts at a value. He defrauded so many people in regards to these that it's just, you know, everybody's like, oh, so what? He told a lie about how much he's worth. That's not it. He told a legal lie. He filled out paperwork. He filed contracts. He went for loans. They actually did it on purpose to get ahead. And that part is illegal. You can walk into a room and tell people that you're rich and not be rich, and that's not against the law. What you can't do is use it.
You can't actually fill out the forms you send to the bank and say,
exactly,
I have $3 billion in assets.
And
then
all the
20 days later, when the government comes to see you, say, I only have 175 million in assets.
Yeah, exactly. Like they got a match. They get to use them against you, especially when you're filing it one way with the state, so you don't have to pay taxes. But every time you want to borrow money, all of a sudden you've got it.
Yeah.
All right. So, you know, that's, you know, and then they cry foul, but you can't use that. I didn't send it to you with the tax form. Well, sorry, it's a fact. This is what you filled out for the bank. Like, how come it's different than what you said here? Really? And those explanations aren't easily answered. And let's not forget that the actual organization itself has already been committed as guilty of bad accounting practices and defrauding. In their actual CFO is guilty and actually gave testimony about it. Yeah. They're going to be able to bring all that in. It doesn't look good. I don't see how they win. And also, didn't Trump just release an affidavit throwing his son under the bus for it anyway?
Yes.
Did anybody read that? I mean, I think I read too many affidavits and legal briefings that I forget all of these little tidbits until you mention something. I'm like, yeah, I did just read Trump throwing Eric, the younger one, under the bus. It'd say it was all him. Like, you know what? He's the acting CEO over there. Anything he does is on him. Like, I don't know. And yet
the New York trial is to start October 2nd.
Yep, October 2nd. Yep, that's the civil one, right?
Trump was denied today. It was rejected his bid to delay the scheduled start of the October 2nd trial in the civil fraud lawsuit.
The civil fraud lawsuit brought on by the AG in New York.
Yeah.
And he says it's a witch hunt there. He doesn't like New York.
They're all witch hunts, though.
There are. You know, I can't wait until Florida decides to do one.
Well, she's not gonna. the news today pretty much said that she's now following the DC judge. So she's kind of backed away from all her filibuster and fluff and stuff, and it was just like, I'm just gonna let someone else do it, because she's literally been caught twice now screwing
She
things up.
she really has, and she's been called out for it, and she could get sanctioned. I
Well,
mean,
yeah,
they
I mean,
actually,
first she
yeah.
pretty much instructed the defense that I want you guys to file this motion asking this question. And that's not staying neutral.
That isn't. That's like working for the defense there. Like
You're
that.
not
That's like,
allowed to
yeah,
tell the defense what they're supposed to do, or how,
yeah.
if you want me to rule in your favor, just make a motion that says this and I will.
That was a bit
Okay.
obvious. Is she like not like what? Don't you think that's like way obvious? Like, whoa. That's like,
Yeah, it is way obvious. And then after that, she did the whole, I'm not going to seal anything you file, Jack Smith. And Jack Smith's like, really?
okay. Really? Here
All
you
right,
go.
fine. We'll just send in all the evidence in a motion hearing, and it'll be now on the record for everybody to see. And then Trump's attorneys are like, no, 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 you can't let him do that.
Yes, they would like, oh my Lord, like we don't want everybody. Here's the thing. On the one stand, they're going, oh my God, everything needs to be public. We need it all out there. You people are persecuting us against us, and like there's nothing to it. And then you have no evidence. This is all a witch hunt. We want everybody to know. Make it all public. And then Jack Smith pulls up with a truckload of evidence and goes, really? Okay, here it is. And they're like, wait a minute. You do have it. They're running away. They don't want anybody to know about what Jack Smith has. None of it. They don't want them to know anything about it, because I mean, they're ready. Why would someone like Jack Smith, an independent, here we go, who is a special prosecutor, it's a very serious position. And you get to look at things, you have to look at things a little bit more unbiased, and you really have to have something to go forward. It's a big deal. What makes them think he didn't dot his I's and cross his T? This is a serious man. He took his time too. He did not just do this in a couple of weeks,
No, but when they said, we want a speedy trial, he said, I can start next week. And they're like,
You know why?
maybe we don't want it that fast.
Yeah, because why? Because as they did it, they prepared their case as they went along, instead of waiting until there is something and then preparing the case. Each step of the way, they were preparing.
Yep.
So they're ready, and if anything, he knows how to build a team.
True that.
I'm telling you. If this is Aaron says, if this is a witch hunt, then we can dunk Trump and see if he floats. I foresee nothing but bubbles and an orange oil slick that stinks of special sauce. Oh my God, Aaron, like with the burger references here, he's killing me. Okay. But I think a lot of people are fond of Jack Smith in his prosecutorial past. It's been pretty good. So I don't think they're going to find much on him. I really don't. Well, on that, what do you think, Quiz? Like we got like 8 minutes until we're at an hour and a half. What would be the last thing you want to talk about? Here we go.
For those of you who have come in late, I need to make an announcement. My name is High Inquisitor. I'm a proud gay man. And the Heritage Foundation, you can just go fuck off.
Here's that video again for anybody who didn't grab it. You got to check out what they're planning for Project 2025. It is quite upsetting. It's alarming to the point where it ruined my morning. I just woke up and I was like, what? And I'm sure it did for you too, because you're right. It's I can't even imagine what it feels like.
They seriously want to make every gay person guilty of pornography because they're gay.
just because they're gay. Basically, in a nutshell, that's what the project is. It's an organized effort to label every LGBTQ person in America as some kind of deviant and into porn and going to ruin our children and ruin our life. Every single one of them. Regardless of the statistics that the people actually causing harm to the children of America
Yes.
happen to be middle-aged white men of an actual substantial income and age. Okay.
And of a certain Christian nature.
And usually heterosexual in Christian. Yes. Sorry about that, but those are the facts and the statistics, not the other way around. I know they don't want us to talk about it, but hey, that's it. That's where it really is. And actually why they feel that they have to do that. I mean, they're so threatened. They're just so threatened by other people.
Commander, I think you're right. But I really think they're going for Sharia law, just in a Christian version. So it's they're looking to get into a Christian theocracy.
Mm-hmm. It absolutely is looking that way.
And people, let me help you understand something. You can kind of giggle and say, well, they're only going for the gay people and not really do much about it. But the next ones are coming for the women especially who speak out, who don't have a man to control them. And they will say that. If you are not married and belong to a man, then you don't have any rights.
Exactly. Because you don't have any rights anyway. Just your husband has your rights.
And after that, they'll do people of color.
Mm-hmm. I think anyone who doesn't subscribe to exactly what they do is at risk.
I agree.
Yeah. Freedom itself is at risk under Project 2025. Let's just say that. Because the way they want to wield the power and all, there'll be no more. Your vote won't matter. Your voice won't matter. It won't matter what's good for you. It's going to be whatever they want. And they're going to put a system into place where they can get whatever they want with absolutely no pushback. And let us remind you that they are the minority in this country. This far right extremist is the minority. Okay. And for them to actually have to cheat to get their way should tell you something. For them to have to change the laws to be that your voice doesn't matter anymore, your vote doesn't matter, where 70% of the country can vote on something and it doesn't matter.
Well, the Constitution
doesn't
matter anymore.
Yeah, well, that's going to be a problem. And that's why we're pushing this information out there that y'all got to get on board on it, because we can't let this stuff happen. We cannot sit by idly and let such a small tyrannical faction take over like this. Well, our eyes should be open over history. We've seen it before. And I hate to make those kind of like draw those lines, but I'm sorry, the parallels are there. It's still discrimination against, it's still targeted discrimination on purpose, organized against certain factions of our own country who happen to be Americans too, by the way. Regardless of what you do anywhere else in your bedroom or in your home, they are Americans too, with the same damn rights as us. The only thing they don't do is practice your religion. So why should that be a targeted offense? Like, come on, it's ridiculous. And if we let it happen to one, they'll do it to everyone else. So I'm with you on that one. That was a great way to close, actually, Quiz. I'll drop the link again. Everybody watch that Project 2025. I'm stuttering. And that's it. I think we can call it on that, because that is the important issue today. Don't let them do it. Don't let them do it. And follow the cases. Drop you the following cases link again.
Okay, I'll help you out. It's a little over 3 weeks for the New York case. It's not like next week or anything, just in case Clara was counting.
Yeah. Yeah, and I can't count this morning because I've not finished a full cup of coffee yet. It's unfair. It's unfair to ask me to count without full coffee. But on that, I think we're ready to end it. What do you think, Chris?
I think we've done it. Yeah.
I think we've done it.
Do you have any questions from our chat before we go?
I don't see. Let's see. I swear they marry me off. I'll
give them 5 seconds.
I swear to God, if they marry me off, I'll be the meanest wife you ever saw. I don't blame you there, Anna.
Anna, I'm going to remind you that we're going back to the 1950s, where the man
Yeah.
owned the wife and he could beat her and not go to jail for it. Just saying.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Just
Yeah.
saying. This is where we're heading back to.
You know, I agree. I don't see questions. I just see people agreeing with us in actually, like us making Whopper jokes about cheeseburger or cheeseburger or who. Yeah, okay. But on that, let's just call it quiz.
Let's call it
I
quiz.
think that's it. Thank you so much, everybody who was in chat, everybody was watching, behind the scenes, and everybody who may watch later. If you have any comments, please put them on the back of the video, like and share, all of that stuff. Quiz already put the banner up, so I'm just going to play the outro and say thank you, Quiz, for another entertaining afternoon.
Thanks, Claire Bear. Thanks, everybody, for showing up.
Yep, and we'll be
please,
back.
Go watch that Project 2025 link.
Yes, please do. And also the other link that I put down there is all of the cases that are against Trump right now and where they stand. Just because it's so much to keep up on. Like, at least that one gets updated like every 15 minutes. But anyway.
It changes every 15 minutes.
Exactly. Everybody have a good night. Okay. All right. Bye. Thank you, Quiz.
Night,
Thank you,
everybody.
Good night.
The only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Justice requires us to remember when any citizen denies his fellow, saying his color is not mine, or his beliefs are strange and different. In that moment, he betrays America.
Be nice and patient and continue to pray. In 100 or 200 years, the problem will work itself out.
I believe that truth is the glue that holds government together. Not only our government, but civilization itself.
In this present crisis, government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem.
This nation was founded by men of many nations and backgrounds. It was founded on the principle that all men are created equal, and that the rights of every man are diminished, and the rights of one man are threatened.
America is never wholly herself unless she is engaged in high moral principle. We as a people have such a purpose today. It is to make kinder the face of the nation and gentler the face of the world.
There is nothing wrong with America that cannot be cured by what is right with America.
Through much of the last century, America's faith in freedom and democracy was a rock in a raging sea.
Starting today, we must pick ourselves up, dust ourselves off, and begin again the work of remaking America.